evening, lads, and welcome back to another video. It is AFC Joe here, and today we are going to be doing our predictions for Euro 2024. Yes, it is that time again, and to make it even better, we've got the one and only Cameron Murray with us here today to do our predictions. And yeah, so just before we get started, obviously you should know the drill by now. You like, you subscribe, you comment your thoughts down below. Otherwise, your team is going to get knocked out in the group stages of this tournament. Okay then, people, so without further ado, let's get started with Group A. Cam, I will let you begin. What are you thinking?
Alright, so thank you, Joe. We'll start off Group A, of course. I think Germany, host nation, obviously. They've got a relatively new manager. I think quite a young squad-ish. I think they'll go far. Scotland as well. Underrated. They're second place. And then I think between Hungary and Switzerland, I'm going to go with Switzerland. I quite like their team. And then Group B, Spain. Quite a young squad. They perform well in the qualifiers. So I think they'll definitely be first to go through. And then between Croatia and Italy, I think Italy will just edge Croatia. And then third to go through Croatia. Unfortunately, Albania, I can't see them doing that well. I'm sorry. Group C, I'll see England first. And then we'll go with Denmark. And then I'll go with Serbia. Why not? Group D. This is an interesting one. I think obviously France, joint favourites with England. Their squad depth will just see them qualify first. And then for me, it's between. It's Netherlands. It's Netherlands. Yeah, has to be. And then third to go through. I don't know. I really don't. I think Poland, because I know that they've got a relatively new manager. I think they'll just, Poland. Group E, Belgium, I think will win. Yeah, and then Ukraine. Why not? And then I think Romania. Yeah. And finally, Group F. Portugal, I think, will come out on top. And then Turkey. Yeah, I think they'll be. I know we said it before in the Euros, Euro 2020, but I think they'll be underrated. I think they'll pull through and perform. And then Czech Republic. Come third.
Okay then, people, so now on to my predictions. Thank you very much, Cam, for your predictions. So yeah, number one is going to be Germany. I don't think that's too controversial in opinion. They're the host nation, as Cam said, relatively new manager with Julian Nagelsmann, and I know that they haven't done great in the past few tournaments, but I think they're due a run this time. And second, this one might be a bit of an out there pick, but I'm going to go with Hungary in second place. Now the reason is because it's obviously a big tournament for them. Dominik Szoboszlai, Milos Kerkez, two Premier League players, are going to be playing their first ever tournament for Hungary. And under Marco Rossi, as we've seen in the past few years under his tenure, Hungary have proven that they are a very well organised team. They're very difficult to beat. And they have been able to go toe-to-toe with some of Europe's very best. So, I know it's a bit of a controversial one, and I know that on paper they probably have the weakest squad in this group, but I'm going to go with them in second. And then in third place, I'm going to go with Switzerland. And obviously Switzerland do have a pretty decent squad with players like Manuel Akanji and Granit Xhaka, but they have been in really, really poor form recently. But then again, they always do seem to get to the knockout rounds in the tournaments that they qualify for. So yeah, I'm going to go with them in third. And Scotland, I mean, sorry Cam, but I'm going to go with them in fourth place, just because of a lack of experience in comparison to Hungary and Switzerland. I know that form-wise they're probably the second best team in this group, but they were pretty poor at the last not the World Cup. They were pretty poor at the last Euros. I just think that a lack of experience will really cost them this time. Okay, so moving on to Group B, the group of death. I'll start with 4th place because I think this one is probably the easiest to predict in this whole group stage. I'm going to go with Albania in 4th. I mean, they're in a pretty torrid group. Spain, Italy, Croatia. I can't see them getting any wins out of, getting not even a point out of any of those games. And with the top 3, with the other 3 teams in this group, it's a difficult one to predict. I think that any of these teams could finish in any of the top 3 positions. But in 1st place, I'm going to go with Spain just because I think on paper they do have the best squad. Obviously, they don't. They're a shadow of their former selves with some of the other Spain teams that we've seen over the past 15 years or whatever. But they've got decent squad depth. They've got a couple of talented youngsters in Pau Kubasi and Lamine Yamal coming through. And yeah, I think they're going to come top. And then in 2nd place, I'm going to go with Italy. Now, Italy are in a bit of a transitional period right now because this current Italy team is pretty unrecognisable in comparison to some of the other Italy teams that we've seen. If you think about the last Euros when they had that partnership of Leonardo Bonucci, Giorgio Chiellini, it's a very recognisable partnership that have been playing together for such a long time. Obviously, no Lorenzo Insigne this time, no Ciro Immobile, but I do think that they have a decent enough squad to at least come 2nd in this group. And then in 3rd place, this might be a bit of a surprise to some people, but I'm going to go with Croatia, the semi-finalists at the last World Cup. And, they've got a very experienced squad. I'd say that out of all the teams in this group, they've probably got the most experienced players, with players like Luka Modric, Ivan Perisic, Domagoj Vida, etc. And they've also got a couple of interesting, young-ish players. Martin Baturina at Dinamo Zagreb. He's going to be one to watch this summer. But yeah, in the past couple of tournaments when they have done well, they've always been a bit underwhelming in the group stages, and because of that, I think they're going to come in 3rd place. Okay then, now for Group C, England's group. Okay, so in 1st place, no debate about it, we're going to be coming top. And then in 2nd place, I'm going to go with Denmark. Denmark have got a pretty decent squad. They qualified fairly comfortably in the qualifiers just gone. And they did pretty well at the last Euros, reaching the semi-finals. And yeah, I certainly think that they've got a much better team than Serbia and Slovenia. So I don't see anything other than Denmark coming 2nd. And then 3rd, 4th place, a little bit harder to predict. But I'm in 3rd place, I'm going to go with Serbia. So this is actually Serbia's first ever European Championship since the dissolution of Yugoslavia. They've got a decent squad with players like Dusan Vlahovic, Sergej Milinkovic-Savic, Dusan Tadic, but they have underperformed in the past couple of World Cups that they've been in, and I think that because of that, they're going to underperform again this time around. And then obviously in 4th place, the last team that I haven't mentioned, Slovenia. I know that obviously Benjamin Sesko is a good player, one to watch, but yeah, it's their first tournament in a very long time. I don't think any of these players have ever played in a major tournament before, and because of that, I don't really see them getting through to the next round just because of the lack of experience. Now then, on to Group D, another very interesting group. In 1st place, one of the favourites to win the tournament, I'm going to go with France. They are stacked with quality all over the park. They've got a pretty decent mix of experience and young talent as well, and I can't see them not finishing top. And then in 2nd place, I'm going to go with the Netherlands, again, similarly to France. They've got a very good squad with a good mix of experience and, younger talent. And yeah, can't see them finishing anything lower than 2nd. And then, I'm going to disagree with Cam on this one. But in 3rd place is going to be Austria. So under Ralf Rangnick, their manager, they have been playing pretty decent football. They were perhaps a little bit unlucky not to come top above Belgium in qualifiers, and Poland I'm going to put in 4th because they were pretty poor in qualifiers. They were a penalty shootout away from them not even being in this conversation. Some of their better players that they've had over the years, such as Robert Lewandowski, their goals have dried up a bit, they're aging a little bit, and I just think that Poland will have a bit of a stinker of a tournament this time around. Okay, now on to Group E, probably the worst group in this tournament quality-wise. Number 1, I'm going to go with Belgium. I know that they've again, similarly to Spain and Italy, they're a shadow of their former selves. Obviously Eden Hazard's retired now, but even though they're nowhere near the side that they used to be, I still can't see any of the other teams in this group finishing above them. So Belgium are going to come first. And in second place, I'm going to go with Ukraine, just because I think they were unlucky not to qualify automatically. If you look at the squad that they've got, they've got players like Viktor Sigankov and Artem Dovbyk, who had pretty good seasons at Girona, and players like Mikhailo Mudryk, Alexander Zinchenko, fairly recognisable faces. And I just think that, quality-wise, they're a bit better than Romania and Slovakia, and I think that Slovakia will come in third place over Romania in fourth, purely because they've got better tournament experience, but I don't think either of them will qualify for the round of 16. And then lastly, in Group F, again, Portugal, pretty easy one to predict, they'll come top. And then I'm going to agree with Cam on this one, but Turkey will come second, just because I think that their players are better than, their squad's better than the Czech Republic's. And even though I predicted Turkey to do pretty well last time and they obviously flopped, I just think they're better than the Czech Republic, and I don't really see them I don't see Turkey finishing any lower than second place. And third place, Czech Republic, pretty poor squad, but then they did do pretty well at the last Euros. And then in fourth place, Georgia. This is their first ever European Championships. I think it might even be their first ever tournament. A couple decent players here and there. Feature Kvaratskhelia at Napoli, very fun player to watch, but even with him, it's not going to be enough. Georgia are going to come bottom. Okay then, people, so on to the teams that did finish third in their groups but are going to be qualifying for the round of 16. Cam, I'll let you begin.
Yeah, so I've chosen these 4 teams pretty much based off who I think will not get through. I don't see Romania or Serbia getting into the round of 16, so I've gone with Switzerland, Croatia, Poland and Czech Republic.
For me, I've gone with Switzerland, Croatia, Austria and the Czech Republic to go through to the round of 16. Now then, on to the round of 16, where it starts to get a little bit more tasty, let's just say. Cam, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, so we'll start with Germany, Denmark. This is, for me, pretty obvious. I definitely see Germany getting to at least, well, I think the final, but that's a little spoiler of what's to come. And then Scotland, Italy. Scotland.
You're back in the boys.
Oh yeah. Spain, Poland. Yeah, Spain are going to win that. England, Czech Republic, England. Portugal, Croatia. Yeah, Portugal win that. Ukraine, Netherlands. I want to say Ukraine, but I'm going to put Netherlands. Now, this is another interesting one. It might come as a bit of a surprise. Actually, no, it won't. Belgium will beat Switzerland. And finally, France will definitely beat Turkey.
Okay then, so for me, starting off with Germany versus Denmark, I don't see anything other than a Germany win. Being the host nation, as I said before, I think they're due a run in a major tournament, so I'm going to go with Germany to go through against Denmark. Next up, we've got Hungary versus Italy. Now, this is one that I think could potentially be an upset. I do think that Hungary could potentially beat Italy, but I don't know. I still see Italy going through in this one. I think that they'll just nick it. It will be close, but Italy will nick that one. And then Spain versus Austria. Again, another very interesting tie. And I know that in the past, in some of the past major tournaments, the Russia World Cup in 2018 and the World Cup in Qatar in 2022, Spain actually got knocked out against teams that they were expected to beat in the round of 16. So obviously they lost to Russia in 2018 and lost to Morocco in 2022 in the round of 16, but not this time. They're going to be going through to the quarterfinals and back in Spain to beat Austria. Again, it will be close, but the Spanish boys will do it. Then England versus the Czech Republic. I'm sorry, but this lot right here, us, will have too much firepower for the Czechs to handle. And then Portugal versus Croatia. This is probably one of the more harder ones to predict. But you know, I think this one is going to be close, but it's going to be a repeat of the round of 16 in Euro 2016. Portugal will nick it 1-0 in extra time. And then the Netherlands versus Ukraine. Yeah, I reckon Holland will do this one fairly comfortably. Belgium v Switzerland, you know, quality-wise, probably the worst tie of the round of 16, but I am going to back Belgium to do it. They're going to get to the quarterfinals. And then France v Turkey, for me, probably the easiest one to predict out of all these round of 16 ties. France are going to do it and go to the quarterfinals. Okay then, now onto the quarterfinals, where it starts to get even more tasty. Cam, I'll let you begin. What are you saying?
Yeah, so we'll start with Spain, Germany. And this is going to be a good game, I'll tell you. But Germany will just edge Spain. And then we got Portugal, Netherlands. I could definitely see Portugal winning that. Now, Belgium, France. I think this will be another tasty game. I can see Belgium really fighting this one out. It's sort of their last chance to win a major tournament with these. You know, we get like Lukaku's, De Bruyne's even. Like, yeah, it's going to be a good game, but I will back France. I think they'll just beat Belgium. And then finally, we're left with England and Scotland.
What a tie that is.
Yeah, and I think it will go England's way.
Now, on to my quarter-final predictions. First up, Spain versus Germany. Two teams fairly similar in quality, but I'm going to back the hosts in this one. It's going to be very, very close. But as I was saying before, I feel like Germany are due a run in a major tournament, and they're going to do it on penalties, just like they always do. Spain are going to get knocked out on penalties, just like they did in the Russia World Cup in 2018. Next up, we've got Portugal against the Netherlands. Again, a very, very tasty tie in which, you know, is quite hard to call. But I'm going to go with Portugal on this one, just because I think they have better firepower than Holland. And next up, in my opinion, probably the easiest tie to predict. Belgium v France. I can't see anything other than France winning. France have a far superior team to Belgium, and they will comfortably go through to the semi-finals. And next up, we've got England versus Italy, a repeat of the last final of Euro 2021. But unlike the last final, England are going to do it this time. We're going to beat Italy. Obviously, as I said before, Italy are kind of unrecognisable in comparison to some of their past teams that they've had, with no Bonucci, no Chiellini, and I think that, you know, with many of their key players from the last tournament retiring, as I just said, England will have too much for them. Now then, on to the semi-finals, where things really do get even more tasty. Cam, what are you saying?
Yeah, this is going to be good. These semi-finals, I tell you, they're going to be a good watch. But I can see Germany beating Portugal. And then obviously left with England and France again. Oh, it's going to be good. And I can just see England.
Love that.
Beating
Love that.
France into the final. The Germany-England final. Yeah.
Okay, now then, Germany versus Portugal. A very, very tough one to call. I think that Portugal on paper are slightly better than Germany, but with Germany being the hosts, you know, I don't know why. I have a strange feeling that they're going to do this. You know, they're going to get to the final. Ronaldo is going to, you know, say goodbye to, you know, international tournaments with a defeat in the semi-final. Germany are going to be there in the final in their own country. And now on to England versus France. In my opinion, the two best teams in Europe and the two favourites to win this tournament. Now, obviously, as you all know, both sides have got quality all over the park. However, I think since the last World Cup and since we last played France in the quarterfinals, there has been a little bit of a power shift between the two teams. If you think that 2 years ago, players like Bukayo Saka, Phil Foden, Jude Bellingham would have been considered as young, but fast forward a couple of years, these players are experienced players. They've all had the best season of their careers, whilst players like Karim Benzema and Hugo Lloris, who have been such key players for France, are now retired. Honestly, Man to man, I think that we have them. I think the only thing that them lot have over us is experience and a player like Kylian Mbappe who can win the game on his own. But having said that, I'm going to back us. I have to, okay? You can clip this, screen record this, save this clip as many times as you like. Come back to this in a month's time and you will not be laughing, because England are going to beat France, we're going to get revenge, and we are going to be in the final of Euro 2024. Now, on to the final, where England will be facing our biggest and fiercest enemy in international football, Germany. Cam, what are you saying?
Well, I think it's going to be a very good game. I think it'll go to extra time and maybe even penalties. But, and if you've made it this far, fair play. I think, as per usual, we will beat Germany on penalties, with Harry Kane scoring the last one.
You're a madman, you are. Now, as you lot all know, this is a fixture with a lot of history. Obviously, Germany knocked out England in Euro 96, in Italia 90, and the 2010 World Cup, whilst England beat Germany in the World Cup final in 1966. And also at the last Euros, we knocked them out at Wembley in the round of 16. This one, I think, is going to be a very, very tight game. I think that we've got the better team on paper, but obviously with Germany being the host nation and obviously the occasion of the final, it's going to be very, very close. In this game, I'm predicting it to be 0-0 after 90 minutes, with Kai Havertz blazing one over the bar and Harry Kane having a penalty saved by Manuel Neuer within the 90 minutes. However, in the 118th minute, Kane will ping one over to Saka. Saka will do what he always does, twist, turn, and then he'll chip it to the back post, and Phil Foden is going to volley it in at the back stick, and England are going to win the Euros for the first time ever on German soil. You heard that right. Okay then, people, so that is the end of the video. I hope you have all enjoyed. Obviously, you guys should know the drill. You like, you subscribe, and also make sure that you comment your thoughts down below. Do you think that me and Cam were spot on, or do you think that we're talking out our arse? You let us know in the comments. And yeah, guys, I hope you all enjoy what should be an absolutely amazing tournament. I'm certainly looking forward to it. And let's just hope that for this one time, England will bring it home. Have a good one, lads. I'll see you later.